YouTube, it's itskaygee.yt and welcome to another video. If you know anything about me, you know that my camera does not really love low lights and it works best outside, and so as a result we have taken to the outdoors to film today's video. I hope you don't mind. Today is October 29th. I'm about to go on a trip, so I'm pre-filming some videos for you guys so you have something to watch while I'm gone, and of course there will be a trip video or two. Nothing like Tulum or Vegas. I won't make it a whole thing, but I will show you a bit of what I get into. Today is October 29th. I will be turning 24 in 7 days, which will be the start of my mid-20s. So my early 20s are pretty much over, basically about to end, and I just keep inching closer and closer and closer to that age 30 quarter-life crisis. I hope that by the time I get there, I've at least got some things figured out and know how I feel about myself. And I think that if I had had some of the tips that I'm going to share with you guys during my early 20s, then I would feel a lot better about things now. I'm ready to turn 24. I understand it's just another day, it's just another age, it's not the end of the world, but I've learned a lot in my early 20s, although it was only 3 years long. It was a pretty significant 3 years, and I think I have a little bit of knowledge that is worth sharing. I also have a little brother who's in his early 20s or about to be, so I think just getting some of these ideas together so that I know how to guide him as he comes to me with questions will help. I think it'll help. If it'll help him, then it could help you too. So here are some tips for your early 20s. Tip number 1 is to think about if college is really right for you. I went to college, I finished in my early 20s. It was an okay decision for me, but I've seen a lot of people who it didn't really work out for, and I have my own opinions about like some other things that might have worked a little better for me. So it's just something to think about. You know, high school and our parents and pretty much everyone and everything teaches you to finish high school and go to college. And there's not really any space for personal development, thinking it through, making your own choices. You're pretty much just shoved into the decision, you know. Now that we have the internet and we can all talk to each other around the world, I'm seeing that it's a lot more normalized in lots of other countries. Most of what I'm seeing is like all over Europe, to take some time off after high school and really just have fun. Go around, experience some things, get your money up, get your life experience up, and figure out if university really is what you want to be doing. And if it is, what do you want to do while you're there? Where do you want to go? How much money are you willing to put into it? Things that American students are just really not taught to think about. When I was in college, I studied animation, and so I ended up meeting at like networking events and stuff, lots of kids who went to art school, and a lot of them would be talking about wanting to drop out soon because it was so expensive. And I was always confused by this, but honestly it makes sense. We young people are not really taught what our debt means. We don't really have a concept of what $5,000 is, better yet $50,000, you know. It's just, you're told this is how much college costs and you can pay for it with this loan, and you're like, all right, I guess. You don't really get a chance to think it through and understand what that amount of debt even means. And so a lot of people end up dropping out of schools even though they knew how much it cost when they enrolled. They just didn't really get the chance to think through how much it cost. So if this is like hitting home with you, maybe take a second, give it some thought. Furthermore, college is an expensive and time-consuming commitment. If you're going to make this kind of commitment, make sure it is for a major and therefore a career that you're actually interested in. The purpose of college isn't just to get a degree to just have. It's to get a degree so that you can better your chances of getting a job. So if you're studying something that isn't going to get you a job that you want, why are you studying that? Or if you don't know what job you want and so you're just studying whatever, maybe take a semester off. Try a couple of apprenticeships or internships or travel or just talk to people, do some job shadowing, whatever the case may be, and figure out what it is you really want. It's a difficult question to ask someone so young to pick what they want for the rest of their life. But number 1, it's not the rest of your life. You can change careers at any time. It's just difficult. And number 2, everyone has done it. Everyone has been in that position. Everyone older than you, at least. So if they can do it, you can do it. just take some time and think about if this is really what you want and what you need, or if a trade school or a certificate, an online boot camp, or an associate's degree, or just something less than what you were planning, as far as, less time and less degree, is better for your life ultimately. I'm not against college. If you want to go. If you think it's a good decision for you, please do. I'm just saying a lot of people don't get the chance to think it through. So maybe your early 20s is the perfect time. My second tip for your early 20s is to go ahead and just get your career together. Get yourself on the right track. I know I just told you guys to consider if college is worth it, and I stand by that. But the thing about society is, unless you have some kind of grandmaster plan to avoid it forever, you're gonna have to work to survive. So if you're going to have to work to survive, it's best to just get it all squared away as soon as possible, whether that means college or not. Make sure that you're doing everything you can to get hired. And the thing about employers, especially early on, not even early on, just all around, is they're looking for experience. And it's rough early on because you need experience to get a job, but you need a job to have experience. So you're stuck in this loop of how does this make any sense to you people? But honestly, once you get those first 1 to 3 years of experience, things just become simpler. Jobs just, you're qualified for them. You're able to apply to things knowing that there is a good chance you'll actually get it. It's not, everything doesn't feel like a shot in the dark. So my advice for your early 20s as far as your career goes is to make sure you get an internship. If you're in or just finished college, make sure you get an internship. I know unpaid internships, number one, suck, and number two, a lot of people feel like they can't afford them because they have to work to pay for school. And so if I'm working and going to school, where's the time for an internship? That's the exact position that I was in. I understand, but doing it is honestly more valuable than school as far as getting you hired goes. So if that means taking a semester off and using up your savings that you would have spent on school on getting to and from your internship every day, I kind of think that's worth it. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying having work experience. I'm just saying in life in general, having work experience is honestly key. It's key as far as getting your career going. It's just experience. That's all that employers care about, that you know how to use things and that you've proven that you know how to use things and do things by having a job where you use and do things. If you can't get an internship, get a job that is somewhat tangentially related to your career field. For me, I worked at Office Depot as a copy and print specialist, but occasionally someone would want to print something that didn't really work or that didn't exist. And so I would get to open up a design tool and do a little bit of tweaking for them. So I did design at my job. I was a copy, print, and design specialist at Office Depot because that was the closest thing that I could get to experience. And it actually was pretty instrumental, honestly, in getting me my first job. And my first job is going to be pretty instrumental in getting me my second job, and so on and so forth. So if you can really get that ball rolling early, it'll be much better. You'll find that you have somehow more time and more energy in college because you might notice you're doing a billion trillion things, or maybe in high school. At some point, high school, college, early post-college ages, you're going to be doing a million, jillion, billion things. School and a job and president of this club and a part of these societies and doing this community service and doing the volunteer. You're going to be doing a million trillion things. So you may as well add actually getting your career started, the main thing that you need for the rest of your life, to that list. Because when you get older, even slightly older, you're not going to have the time and energy to keep doing a million trillion things forever. So just go ahead and get it going now. There's ants on my blanket. No. Why? Go away. I don't have any food. If you guys are enjoying this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment down below letting me know if you want to hear about any of the things I'm talking about in more detail, because I would not mind chatting this up with you, being a bit of an older sister, if you will. So let me know down below what you think. And again, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's probably not going to happen, but I would at least like to get as close as possible, so your subscription would very much help me. The majority of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. You can be the one to change that. My next tip for your early 20s is pretty contradictory to what I was just talking about, but it's to have fun now. Get out there and enjoy yourself while you can. I wanted to take a post-graduation trip. Not even post-graduation, but I wanted to... Freshman year of high school, I got the chance to go to Europe, and it was amazing, and I have always wanted to travel more since then and see more countries around this great big beautiful world. And every year this trip would just get pushed back and back. First I was going to take it after high school, but then college happened, and then I was going to take it one of my summers in college, but I needed to work to pay for college, and then I was going to take it the summer of graduation, but I graduated in 2020, and it just getting pushed back and back. And now that I have bills, now that I have obligations, now that I have responsibilities, it's become not impossible, but just very difficult and risky to take this long-term trip that I have wanted to take for the last 10 years. Ew. One thing about being in your mid-20s is you've been doing things for 10 years. That's disgusting. But yeah, this long-term trip that I've wanted to take for the last 10 years just keeps getting further and further away from me. And although I am confident that I'm going to take it at some point, probably some point soon, it gets harder to do things as you get older. So if there's anything you want to do, take that trip or write that book, or, go to that concert with your friends, or even something as simple as buying a scooter and scootering around the neighborhood. Whatever it is you want to do it. Take the time to have fun now, because one of the key features of your early 20s is that you have nothing holding you back but yourself. We'll get into that later, but do the thing. You know the thing. You know what you want to do. You know what you want to do. You know what's important to you. Do it. My next tip for your early 20s is to get uncomfortable. Most people, myself included, do this by moving out of their hometown. For me, it was moving out of my home state and all the way across the country. But there's more than one way. You can travel, you can just try something new, you can put yourself out there more. Whatever the case may be, get uncomfortable, and get uncomfortable consistently. You can have 1 hour of discomfort and it'll help you. But, when you move to a new place, or when you take a month-long trip, that's an extended period of time where you are uncomfortable, where you are experiencing all new things, where you're having to fend for yourself in ways that you never did before, where you're having to figure out how your existence is going to work during this extended period of discomfort. And that, it promotes growth in you in a way that nothing else can replicate. I'm not saying you have to leave home if you don't want to. I'm not saying you have to take that trip if you don't want to. But if there's a risk that you've been considering, that you're not quite sure if you should take it, I say your early 20s are the perfect time to take that risk. Because it really is just going to push you and really cement your life from, teenager, high school, living under your parents, not really sure. And it's really going to push you into that next stage of being an adult and being your own person and having your own footing in this world. So get uncomfortable. Do something that kind of scares you. You'll be surprised at how you're able to show up for yourself. And my final, most important tip, not only for your early 20s, but just to keep with you for life in general moving forward, is that you need to remember that 9 times out of 10, if not 9 times out of 9, the only thing stopping you from doing something is yourself. It might feel sometimes like things are impossible or just too hard to reach, but really once you've done something, once you've gotten uncomfortable, once you've taken that risk, once you've done that fun thing you always wanted to do, you'll realize things just happen if you make them happen. You know, you might be a single mom, and so you might think that you can't. I've been using traveling a lot. What's something else people like to do? Change careers. You know, you can't go back to school and, you know, get through school because you don't have time. You have a kid to take care of. You have someone's mouth to feed. You can't quit working. You've gotta do it. And although it's not easy, it's not comfortable, it's not fun, it's also not impossible to do that. You know, you can get a loan, use it to send your child to daycare and pay for school. You can have someone help you. You can take online classes so that your kid can be at home with you. There's a squirrel very close to my blanket. Like, okay, sir, a little cozy, aren't you? The moral of the story is that it can be done. Or me, for example, I want to take a long-term trip, and it's hard because I have bills, I have rent to pay, I have food I need. These fucking cars are loud as hell today, bro. Or me, for example, I want to take a long-term trip, and it's hard because I have rent to pay, I have a job that if I lose it, I'm not sure I'll be able to get another job. There's things in my way, but I also know I'm going to take the trip. Because the only thing really in my way is me. Because if it was that important to me, I would quit my job today and go take the trip. It's not that expensive. It's like $2,000 to $5,000. That's money I can get. All it needs is the risk and the jump. And it's not going to be easy to set up. It's not going to be easy to figure out how to pay my bills and do the trip and get a job when I get back. It's not going to be necessarily fun to sort through those troubles. But if something is worth it to you, you can make it happen. Usually the only thing stopping you is yourself. You might think your parents are stopping you, but you're in your early 20s. You're an adult, babe. You're grown. They might not think you're grown, but you're grown. So just do it. Like, that was kind of my attitude when I moved. I was prepared to tell my parents about it and try and get their support in it. But if they decided they didn't want to support me and they didn't want me to move, well, that was just going to be too damn bad because I'm going. Because how are you going to stop me? You're not. So, bye. Like, I hate to say it like that, but really and truly, a lot of times the only thing keeping you from doing what you want to do is yourself and your own fears. So the moment that you step past them is the moment that you can really accomplish anything. And that is all. I hope I've been able to help you today in your journey through your early 20s, and I hope that I'll be able to help myself through my journey of my mid-20s because it's giving stress. It sounds stressful, but I think I'll be okay, you know, as long as I keep my head on straight. I want to thank you guys for watching. Prompt you once again to give this video a like, a comment, and a subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I will see you all in another video. Until then, toodaloo. Click my links. Oh my god. A bug just flew right in front of my face.